too much luggage.
Yeah, and look who we have with us now, the Rainbow History Project, Vincent
Yes.
Slett. Thank you for making time to be here with us, Vincent. I know it's going to be tough to hear us during this moment, right?
That's
it's like
okay.
talking in a bar. Hello.
Right,
Right.
here, hi.
Next round's on you.
Yeah. So tell us about the importance of highlighting this history during World Pride.
Right, so if the whole world is coming here to Washington, it's important for Washington's local LGBT all-volunteer group to tell them about the history of gay Washington.
And that's important also, not just for World Pride, because you're going to take this information and you're going to actually teach it as curriculum.
Yeah, we're turning this into a curriculum. We've gotten some great grants from the city government and others, and they've changed the social studies standards to include gay history. So we're going to make good curriculum, make it for free.
That's awesome.
Really talking about making sure that there's no erasure of history. So a lot of conversation about the assault on history.
Yeah.
And gay rights history is right there intertwined with American history and something that should be taught.
It is. We've been around since the founding of the Republic, gay generals in the Revolutionary War. We're a part of the American story, and our local Washington history is a big part of that too.
What would you tell people who are watching right now, because you're obviously trying to educate people about LGBTQIA plus history, and you mentioned here, we talk about a lot about the Stonewall riots and sort of what that triggered, but this movement again started well before that.
Right. Well, a lot of people say that the Stonewall uprising is the start of the modern gay rights movement, and we're going to teach you it's actually picketing the White House in 1965. So we just celebrated the 60th anniversary, 10 homosexuals with picket signs saying they want their equal rights. And within 20, 30 years, it's 1 million people marching down Pennsylvania Avenue for our equal rights.
Yeah.
It's a pretty declarative statement, don't you think, to have World Pride here at a time when people are trying to unsee you?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And Pride's always been about visibility, about being seen, being heard. And so the entire world is turning its attention onto Washington, D.C. right now. And we get to tell them, this is how we got our equality.
That's okay.
Right here in Washington. You could do the same.
Yeah. So what do you want to tell people about the significance of that history as they gather here? Because of course people come to DC for the parade, the fun, but as we've been saying, it's about so much more than that.
Mm-hmm. Well, our exhibit is titled Pickets, Protests, and Parades, right? Because you can't have one without the other two. And so you really can use your pride and leverage who you are, being proud of all of your different identities to help bring about change.
It sounds like you have taken the baton that these brave people have passed on to you and to other generations and said, we got this now. We're going to build from where you started.
Yeah.
We're going to keep this going.
It's definitely that case. Rainbow History Project is an all-volunteer operation. Most of our researchers are all in their 20s. And so when we were doing this exhibit and doing this history, it's not actually about what old people did. It's about what old people did when they were young.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're trying to inspire the youth to get involved. Unlike other minority communities, we don't get our history from our families, from our birth families. So we have to pass on our culture to each other this way, and that's what Pride's all about.
I find it interesting. I came across the Rainbow History Project when I was doing research for DC's Black Pride, and you realize there were so few pictures and videos because a lot of people didn't want to be documented back then because they had to remain closeted, if you will.
Yeah, there was real concerns. You could lose your job. You could lose your family. Lesbianism used to be grounds to lose custody of your own children. So there's some real fears about appearing, in the street, going to a bar, right? A lot of people that were from here were still living in their neighborhoods, afraid what would happen amongst your neighbors if they found out you're gay. But little by little, those of us who are comfortable being visible, being out, we've inspired the other ones to do the same.
What message do you have for people who are here from other parts of the world who are in places where they are not fully embraced?
Yeah, I would say to people who aren't fully embraced back at home that now that you're here, take some inspiration and go make that change, right? Our history exhibit is all for people who haven't seen themselves in history. We're calling them in, we're inviting them in to come learn about it. And it's not perfect here, but we've got a lot better off than in other parts of the country and in other parts of the world.
So what are you looking forward to this weekend? We'll see you with your big, your rainbow over the
I've
chest.
got my rainbow sash on here. I just look forward to all the people smiling. And they talk about it. The organizers of Pride have always said that we do Pride Special every year because for someone it's their first Pride.
Yeah.
Right? So those of us who are in community activism, we've been doing this for years, we know it's always somebody's
I saw
first
what
Pride.
you did. So for those who are uninitiated, let's say this is their first Pride.
Okay.
You got to pace yourself, right?
Yeah, I've got my water bottle.
You gotta hydrate.
And then if you're white like me, reapply or die.
Reapply.
That's my thing about the skin. I definitely say slow down. You're not missing anything if you're on the wrong corner or at the wrong party. It's about being visible. It's about being with people. I got 3 hugs on my way over here.
Yeah.
One group had free mom hugs, and a couple moms gave me a hug. And there was a dad who could offer dad hugs or dad jokes.
This is about being present, right? Because
Yeah.
this is unusual.
Yeah, and it's about showing up and showing out,
Yeah.
right? Underneath one rainbow, there's a lot of different parts of our community. And so it's important to be proud of all of your identities and to see each other as siblings.
And people feel embraced this weekend. They feel that love when they're in our city. So what do you do after that? How do you take this home? How do you bottle it up and spread it?
Well, after the parade, we still have a lot going on in Washington all month long. But once LGBT Pride Month is over, we have Independence Day, and we all crash. We take July off, and then we immediately start planning next year.
Okay, you're an ANC. How are you feeling now, knowing that this back and forth was going on about whether Dupont Circle Park was going to be closed or open? It's open.
Yeah,
it's open.
we got it
because
open.
You all said
We got it open.
Not on our watch.
We got it open, and we found out on Monday, and everyone was very incensed, not just the neighbors, but the whole community. And so working behind the scenes with our friends in media, we got the city to open it back up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why is that so important? I mean, we talk about Dupont Circle. We know of its significance, but a lot of people watching right now across the city, across the world, may not fully understand what this meant.
Yeah, Dupont Circle is the historic enclave of the gay community here. It's long progressive for decades before that. And so that fountain is a symbol of who we are. When they picketed at the White House, it was right there down the street. When we had the Pulse Massacre, our vigil was right there. The first AIDS march in D.C. took place during Pride 1983. And we marched from Dupont Circle to the White House, demanding resources, demanding the chance to take care of our own selves.
What I'm hearing you say is you can't extract one from the other. It is a central part, it's an epicenter of sorts for the struggle and the progress.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And what people that don't live here might not understand is every single one of these parks is a neighborhood park. It might be run by the federal government, but if you live in the neighborhood, you can get to the park in 5 minutes, a couple blocks in either direction. So when they start fencing up the park, neighbors can really come out.
Okay, did Vincent tell us where he's going to be in the parade lineup? Do we know that yet?
Where are you going to be in the parade?
For the parade,
Yeah.
I am not marching this year.
What?
I'm taking the year off.
A year off.
We have a
Pacing.
we have a phenomenal block party over on 17th Street
Okay.
today. Those are my businesses. That's my district. And so we're staying low key and letting all the big floats steal the attention.
All right, Vincent Slatt, thank you so much for being here with us. We know that parade is going to get underway in just a moment.